Okay, hello everybody, welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. Today's video is just going to be me reading some tarot-related Reddit stories to you guys and reacting to it. So yeah, let's get into the video. Insert transition. Here are the stories. So this was asked on r/tarot. Does anybody have any creepy stories involving a tarot card reading? I'm quite intrigued. So, I just screenshotted these, but I didn't actually read them. So we're reacting together. Okay. Pinchy Nips said... Love the name. Said, a while ago I was having trouble with a crazy client from work, harassing me, trying to drag my name through the mud. I tried to sensibly talk things through, but that didn't work, and she continued to harass me and escalate the situation. I decided I would curse her. Child, anyways. I think, even though I don't know, I don't necessarily, believe in, curses and stuff, but at the same time, if someone was like, I'm gonna put a curse on you, I'd be shit scared. Also, I would never do it just in case. It's all shits and giggles until it actually works and then you actually ruin somebody's life, so. But okay, we support you, I think. Kind of. By the way, don't look at my nails. I put false nails on, took them off, put them on, took them off. My nails are fucked. They're covered in glue. Don't look at them. Look at them immediately. Don't look at them. How dare you? What's wrong with you? Never look at them again. I can see you looking at them again. There's something wrong with you. You're a bit of a creep. But it's okay. I'll forgive you. I've never cursed anyone before because I try not to put out negativity into the world. I've never felt it was necessary, but at this point it seemed appropriate, even if just for my own peace of mind. I drew 2 cards from my tarot deck before assembling the curse, and it was the 8 of Wands and the 5 of Cups, which I interpreted to mean as... you're making a hasty decision, and if you follow through with it, you could end up regretting it, which is a really good interpretation, to be honest. I put the cards back into the deck in different spots. I do that as well to make sure, I don't come out with the same cards. I'll, put them in different places, reshuffle, and I get them all again. So, fine, whatever. What do you know? You're just some cards, and I'm pissed, and I proceeded to do it anyway. After I completed the curse, I felt uneasy about the warning the deck had given me, and uneasy that I had let my anger and emotions overtake me like that. I shuffled the deck a few times, cut it and drew the top 2 cards. The same 2 fucking cards came out. Okay cards, sorry, geez, next time I'll listen better. Okay, but how are you gonna regret it though? That's what, from that moment on, I'd be like, so how am I gonna regret this? What's gonna happen to me? It reminds me of, if you ever got into, fights in primary school, and then they're like, I'm gonna go get my cousin, and you're like, we'll see, and then you're like, I would be stressed the whole time that the curse is just gonna, double fold back onto me, and I'm gonna be, doubly cursed. Got this person harassing me plus a curse, but you know what? People, if you're getting harassed, do what you gotta do. Honestly, some people kind of support you, but kind of not. We also have another submission from Dragon Morgan, which says, when I was first learning tarot, I did a generic reading, just hey, what's coming down the pipeline? I didn't remember the specific spread, but I got all the bad news cards. The Tower, 3 and 10 of Swords, 5 of Cups, you name it. It was bad, bad, bad. I don't know about that, because everyone always says the Tower card is really bad, but anytime I do a reading where I'm like, what card represents me, or what am I going through right now, or what energy do I have right now, every single time I get the Tower card, and I'm like, hey, because everyone interprets that as a really bad one, because obviously it can be about chaos, destruction, but to me it's also a really strong card and a really cool card, because it's kind of redirection. It's what wasn't meant for you won't come to you, and it will get taken away if it did find its way to you and it's still not meant for you. So it's yeah, you might lose that job, or not have that situation work out, or you might have to move homes or something. Yeah, that's going to be hard, but there's something you didn't know that would have been really bad for you if you'd continued in that space. So it could be like your house would have had mold or something, and then that's why you had to move before that happened, you know, something like that. So it's kind of a good card, really. It's like saving you from bad news, but just with news that you feel is bad news as well. So anyways, for some reason, as soon as I saw it, I visualized a plane crash. My then boyfriend was traveling at the time, so naturally I worried about him. But he came home safely, and I thought that was the end of it. But over the next week or so, a lot of bad stuff happened in my personal life. I crashed and burned academically and had to drop out of my degree program. I'm sorry about that. Then I got the belated news a few weeks later that one of my best friends from high school died in a plane crash the day after I did the reading. I was scared of doing tarot for a while after that. That's so sad. I can see why that would be really scary. But yeah, definitely a spooky coincidence with the tarot cards as well. The Twinset02 said, I was walking home from a Saturday morning yoga class and saw a sign for a psychic fair in an apartment building. Odd, but I thought, hey, why not? That sounds so cool. Like, imagine you're just like living your best life and then like you see like a tarot sign in someone's window. I mean, I'd go in. I would go in. But you know what is like, I love where you just stumble across like something like that. Like, apparently there's some vending machine somewhere where like you can, you know, like you could put £1 in and get like a chocolate bar or like a drink or whatever. You can put £1 in and get a tarot card and get a little reading. And I was like, I need to go to this place, whatever it is. But anyways, as I entered the place, I was asked to fill out a form. Again, I thought this was odd, but I did it anyway. I wandered around and one of the readers had a really strange energy. They mentioned to me that my boyfriend would be jealous. The thing was, I was single at the time, so they kind of dismissed this as like a hoax and moved on to the next person. Eventually sat down with a less weird guy for a hand reading. The tops of my hand. That's really strange. I mean, you can, to be fair, you can actually read all areas of the hand, because I remember when I was learning like palm reading and things, you do also look at like the shapes of your fingernails, the sort of way the lines are on your knuckles, so obviously on the back of your hand. So you definitely can look at that, but yeah, more often than not, it's like you're gonna look at the palm, so I can see why this gave them weird vibes, you know. Apparently, I read too much and I'm too strong-minded according to this reading. Go ahead, get out of there. Get out of there immediately. I left thinking, yeah, nah. Honestly, I'd be pissed if I've just given you my hard-earned money for you to tell me I'm too strong-minded and opinionated. Like, I'm literally suing. I'm suing on the spot. They called me that night on my phone number, which I found was a real invasion of my privacy, and I told them not to call me ever again. 100%, like, you know, like, obviously, some places do make you fill out forms or give certain details, like phone numbers, emails, things like that, for any kind of service. Like, even if you pop into, like, the body shop, they'll ask you for all these details. And it's like, what are you doing with that info, bruv? Like, make sure not to call me, you know? Like, this is crazy. That's got to be, like, a proper violation if this is, like, an official company and these are employees. That has to be like, some action has to be taken. Fast forward a year and I was reading a trash magazine in the tea room at work, and there they all were, some cult being investigated. So oh my goodness, so every single person that she went to for a reading in that room was a part of a cult and they were being investigated. That's so crazy. Cults are so scary to me. Like, they're just terrifying. Like, at the end of the day, it's just some random person that's like, I'm God. And then everyone's like, yes, let's worship you. And it's like, no, let's not do that. Okay, so this next one's a little bit spooky. I have had a little quick read through. But it's by Particular Owl 6716. Yes, I said owl, the bird, not owl, like I've injured myself. Apparently, I can't say that word properly and I seem to confuse a lot of people, but I did say ow, okay? So, sorry, I'm not English. Girl, please, you never have to apologise for that. Like, you're smarter than all of us if you are bilingual, trilingual, like, don't apologise. When I was little, I went to my grandma's apartment and she lived at ground floor, so she had a basement down there. Okay, I remember she had this old girlfriend that we visited many times together, and she owned a pretty black cat. Honestly, don't we all? They're all beautiful. This friend of hers used to read tarot cards, and she did it for a while until her husband said he's not okay with it, and so she wanted to get rid of them, but for some reason she was scared. Sorry. Get rid of them. Like, that's not an option. I don't care if they don't like him. Sorry, does he watch sports? Okay, no more sports. Like, cut the cables, cut the cameras, turn the TV off. He gets nothing. It's a hobby. Like, Jesus Christ. I'll take the cards. Thanks. So for some reason, she's scared to get rid of the cards, like, straight away from them in the bin. To be honest, I feel the same way. Okay. So, I had to let my cat in. She is in the room. She's currently a little drugged up because we're getting ready to go to the vets because she seemed to have some sort of asthma attack yesterday and gave me a heart attack. So, we're gonna go get that checked out. Yeah. Oh, my baby. But to be fair, I do feel the same way. Like, someone that I don't really like anymore got me some tarot cards, and so I don't want them because I kind of associate them with that person. So I was like, I'm never gonna want to read these. Like, I feel like they've got your lurgies on them, you know. So I wanted to get rid of them, but I don't want to throw them in the bin. So I kept being like, hey, does anyone want these? Like, and nobody fucking wanted them. And then when people did want them, they were like, yeah, I'll have them. They never took them home with them. So it's just sitting in my kitchen. And I also won't throw it in the bin because it's like, what if, you know, it's a bit scary. It's like taboo, you wouldn't do it. Like, even though I'm not religious, I wouldn't throw a Bible in the bin. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not that, you know, you have to believe in it to be afraid of it. I'm just like, what if, you know, it's the if factor for me. So my grandma told her to give the cards to her because she would burn them in the basement. Burn them? My god. Not even give them to, like, I don't know, like a charity shop or, you know, an antique shop. I don't know. Someone else would use them. There's a waste. At this time, when she took the cards home to burn them, I was with her, but I was too young to remember, so probably around the age of like 5 or 6 years. So she put some pieces of wood in a box, and then she set the wood in the box on fire and threw the cards in. As we headed upstairs, we heard a terrifying sound from the box that I can't even explain. It was like something was burning alive, and we were very scared. It was a woman's voice, to be precise. We went there again to see what happened, and we saw a blue, whitish thing that came off the box, and it got loose in the air. I don't remember almost anything, because probably I was too scared, so I blocked this memory out for years. But my grandma told me about this, and all I can really remember is that desperate scream. I don't know what that was, but I don't want to be anywhere near tarot cards ever again. This happened in Romania for curiosity. No, that's fucking terrifying. That is so scary. If that happened, I mean, I wouldn't, to be fair, I wouldn't burn any tarot cards, but that is really scary though. But that's giving more like Ouija board vibes rather than tarot card vibes, but at the same time, I guess they're like really similar things, to be fair, but like they're also not. I don't know, I view them differently. I don't know how anyone else sees them, but I see them differently. Okay guys, so we've got a couple more stories, but these are from r/no sleep. So I think when they're in r/no sleep, I'm not a Reddit expert, but I do think that means these are fake. I could be wrong. But we have this one by Billingsley. Someone or something is using my tarot cards. I live alone in a 2-bedroom apartment. Lucky bitch, right? I was doing tarot card readings last night, but I put all the cards back in their, you know, boxes before I go to bed. When I get up in the morning, my Ascended Masters deck was out of its box. The deck was sitting on the table, and next to it, one card, "You are seeing this situation accurately," was sitting face up. Today I was using fairy cards. I asked something about when my career will take off and pulled the first card, "Dreams coming true." Then I put it down, but I swear another card jumped out from the centre of the deck and landed on the top of the deck. I didn't even shuffle. As soon as I put the deck down, the cards fell out of my hand and the card almost teleported from one place to another. I turned it over. Positive expectations. Like every so often, I'll come home or wake up, go into my meditation room, the smaller bedroom in my apartment, and the cards will be out on the table in various formations. What would you think if you came home from work and found this? To be honest, the card kind of hanging out of the middle of the deck is like super normal, I think. Like when I'm shuffling, there can be times where like they just absolutely fly out of my hands, but it's more about how you're shuffling and holding the cards, and the fact that a lot of the times these decks are really big and people can't hold all of them with just one hand, so they kind of just fly out. So that's super normal. But what's not normal is like waking up and having your things moved or misplaced in a way that you didn't have them before. That can happen for like a lot of health reasons. So if that was me, I'd probably go see a doctor at the same time. But it also, part of me would be like, who live in here? Because you've got a 2-bedroom apartment, greedy, and the spare bedroom's single. So I'd be very freaked out. I'd be checking every room, every attic. I'd be like, who live in here? There's also a little bit at the end. And this is not a formation spread I'm familiar with. I don't know what this means, but I do know that when a card is upside down, it means something bad. No, that's not true. So you can use tarot cards to ask a yes or no question. If you're doing that, that card can be like a yes or a no anyway, depending on what card it is. So if it's like a really positive card, so for example, if you got the Sun card or the World card, that would be a yes, whether you get it upright or downwards, reversed. But at the same time, if you were asking yes or no questions, but you didn't know what cards were yes and no, then upright will mean yes and reverse will mean no in that context. On top of that, they're not bad reversed. It just is either, when you get a reverse card, it can either mean the original meaning of the card magnified, or it can mean the reverse of whatever that card meaning was. And you can have lots of negative cards in tarot that mean, you know, you're going to go through hardship. And if you get it in reverse, it can mean that that hardship is over, it's turning round, you know, your luck's transforming. So it's not actually a bad thing. And now we have a story from r/Am I the Arsehole, which is interesting. It's involving tarot. So, am I the arsehole for telling my daughter to stop reading tarot cards for money? Off the bat, I'm gonna give my verdict. You go ahead, give yours. But I would say yeah, because what's the problem? Like, it's paying for like a service like you'd pay for any other type of service. For me personally, I probably would never ever ask anyone to pay me for a reading, ever. But I would continue to do them for free in person with like family and friends, and then also on YouTube for free. But that's just a personal preference. It's not because it's wrong to charge for a service you were providing. At the end of the day, if you're spending like an hour giving someone a tarot reading, that's an hour you could have spent at work. You know what I mean? So it's an hour of your time that they're paying for. So I think that's absolutely fine. So if it's something to do with reading tarot cards as to why you don't think they should get money, then I do think you're an asshole. But if it's not, then no. Okay, so we have this. My daughter, 14, has recently taken up an interest in tarot cards, and she's been doing readings for several family members and her friends. It always starts that way. What I didn't know was she's been doing it in school too, and doing it for money at that. One parent got my number and called me complaining, saying that her son blew all his savings on readings within a space of 4 days. Okay, but that's his choice, teach him money management. I got embarrassed and paid her back and talked to my daughter. I asked her if she actually believed in what she was doing, and she said she didn't, but it was nice to make money from it. I got disappointed and said she was making a fool out of her classmates. She said they are fools, it's not my fault. Okay, yeah. So you're not the arsehole, but let's keep reading. I told her I want her to stop immediately or she'll get into trouble, and that she needs to find a more legitimate way to make money if that's what she wants. She got upset and said that she's put a lot of work into learning how to read tarot cards. She complained to my husband, who told me I'm being unreasonable and that it's not her fault if her classmates believe in stuff like tarot, but I think her classmates are too young to know any better, and it's only a matter of time before the school finds out and gets involved. I think there's a few layers to it. So I kind of want to say either everybody's the arsehole or no one sucks here, but it's somewhere in between there. So the thing is, she wanted to double check that the daughter believed in tarot cards to make it appropriate to decide whether or not it's appropriate for the daughter to be charging money for it. The thing is, I don't think you necessarily need to 100% believe in something in order to, you know, make a living off of it. A lot of people work at companies that they don't back, whose, you know, morals and values they don't agree with, but they work there because it's money. You know what I mean? So you don't, people nowadays, like, if you're working at, like, I don't know, a job that makes tires and you don't give a shit about tires and you don't think these tires are special, but every time a customer comes in you say these are the most special tires you've ever seen in your life, then what's the difference between that and doing tarot readings for people when you don't believe? The point is the customer is believing, and it's about giving them a service that they've asked for. And also it's a bit of fun. At the end of the day, tarot is a card game. It's not necessary. I mean, the card game is messing about with divination and predicting things and seeing if they come true. That is the game. It doesn't have to be taken seriously as this, like, almost like a religious thing, because it's not. You can definitely use it alongside religious practices, but you can also use it as it was originally intended, which is as a board game. So I think her deciding that it's inappropriate for the daughter to charge money because she doesn't believe is wrong. And also because subtly she seems to think that these kids are getting taken advantage of by her, because eventually they're going to realise this is all, you know, hocus pocus, you know, kind of not legit stuff. And that's her personal preference that she's kind of projecting onto the situation. That's her personal opinion. Because to other people, to those people, it might not be that way, but it also might be. Either way, they're enjoying it and they're having fun and they're getting a service for it. And I'm sure when they're older, they'll look back on it and be like, that was so fun and that was cool and crazy. But instead, this parent is like making a bigger deal out of it than that needs to be. But at the same time, she did call them fools. Now, hear me out. If you're going to take someone's money, at least be respectful about it. Like, don't be calling people that, you know, are supposed to be your friends, your classmates, and your customers in this situation fools. Like, that's very inappropriate, and she should, like, be taught to be more respectful towards them. So I do think removing the money element will hopefully teach her to be more respectful of them, or maybe just speak to her in general about having empathy towards others. So I do agree with the removing of the money aspect in that sense. On top of that, I also think the dad, his perspective is that they're fools anyways, so they're ripe for the taking. They're, you know, it's good to take advantage of them because they're the kind of idiots for believing in this stuff, is his kind of interpretation, which is so fucking typical, and I will make a video about that. But it's each to their own, honestly. But he seems to be coming at it from a very kind of capitalist, patriarchal, like, make your money, bitch, girl boss perspective, which is very interesting. So he's definitely coming at it from the wrong perspective. And I think the mum is projecting a bit too much, which, even though I think she's got the right action, she's got the wrong interpretation of the situation, in my personal opinion. I also think deciding to make money out of it is such a genius, like, thing for this kid to do, because she's a kid, she's in school, and rather than doing the typical thing we all did, which is like selling sweets, she's selling tarot readings, which is very, very cool. But of course her attitude to it is so disrespectful towards the people that are paying for the service. So that's something I would want to make sure she learns to change about herself, but obviously, and like, just kind of talk it through and be very gentle with her, like, not like stern and be like, you'll be in big trouble, you need to stop doing this and that. Like, I don't like that. But yeah, bit of a mixed one, because kids are pricks. So, like, she is probably going to be a prick and judge her classmates, and that's not to say that's, like, valid, it's definitely not, but I think that's why I'm coming from it from such a, like, more middle ground, because I kind of expect that behaviour a little bit from children, because they don't really have the best empathy, at least until they're older. I mean, for me it was very different. I definitely did have that empathy, but I think it just depends on how fast you grow up, really. I don't know, what do you guys think of that one? Because I think everyone's in the wrong. I think they're all arseholes, but I think the mum is less of an arsehole because she's coming at it from, like, a good place with good intentions, but I just think she's interpreting it wrong. And she's also assuming that these kids are going to look back on it and be like, I got swindled, when actually they're probably going to look back on it and be like, that was really fun, you know? Like, if I did a tarot reading and it didn't work out, like, if I paid for a service for a tarot reading and it didn't work out, you know, and it was kind of, so long as the vibes were right and they were nice and not weird or creepy or, you know, anything like that, then I'm probably going to continue to talk about that experience for like the rest of my life and be like, oh my god, it was so fun, I went to this, you know, tarot reader here and here and we did this and she told me this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna enjoy it and it's gonna be worth it to me. So if something is worth paying money for from your perspective, then that's fine for that person to go and pay that money towards. They're not being like hands tied, give me your money. Like, that's not the situation. They're volunteering it, you know? So Always a Miss says she is correct, they are fools, but her decision to exploit fools is a reflection of her character. I admire her business spirit, but I wouldn't want to befriend someone like her either. This particular exploit feels gross to me. I think she's in moral grey area, and I understand your wish to steer her away from it. Lots of harshness, I think, for this child, but like saying you wouldn't want to be her friend. Okay, it's just your mush. No one asked you to be her friend. But at the same time, I do agree, like, she's probably in like a moral grey area right now and kind of needs help through that. It's so hard to know how to direct kids to be moral though, because it's like you can tell them, hey, this is the right thing to do, but at the end of the day it's up to them to choose. So it's so hard because you want to be like, do the right thing, but they're not doing the right thing. All the Cacti Find a Home said true, but on the other hand, OP says she did actually study the tarot to learn how to do readings. There was some actual effort there, and honestly, half the fun of this kind of thing is the improv storytelling. You create a narrative out of prompt cards, essentially. I don't believe in any of it either, but I have in fact paid for a tarot reading purely to see what the person would come up with, and I don't regret it. I think she'd be in the clear if she stressed that it's more of a show than a spiritual practice, or what have you. I completely agree with this person. Like, the fact, I completely missed that, but the fact that she was like, genuinely upset because she's invested a lot of time into learning it, that proves she actually also cares about giving someone a true tarot reading. Whether she believes it or not is irrelevant. The point is that she is making sure she knows the definitions so she can give them a proper reading. She's expressing her creativity and her storytelling, and she's not going to let them down. Like, to take advantage of someone, I would say, is to get tarot cards, not learn them, not know what they mean, and be like, oh, you got the sun card, that means bad luck all the way. Oh, soz, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's not what the sun card is about. Because then I think you're bamboozling people because you're giving them a false reading. But in this case, she's actually taken the time to study the cards and give someone an accurate reading. So she does care about providing a good service in exchange for the money that she's asking for. It's just her beliefs are wishy-washy, and that's fine. Like, I don't think anyone's beliefs should be interrogated in any of these situations. And it's not like, and as well, it's not like a religious thing. It definitely can be used alongside that spiritual kind of practice, especially if you do believe in like spiritualism, or if you're more like, or if you have like a set religion but you use tarot in it. That's a personal choice. But then there are also people who don't use it that way because it's not like you have to use them that way. And everyone in this story seems to be coming from the perspective that you have to use tarot cards, as if you're like a devout believer in what religion are tarot cards coming under? Pick one. Like, you could say Wicca, but there's no real history behind that because tarot cards started at a certain point in time and they were made by, there's a whole history, I could tell you about it, but it was literally made as a replacement for like actual cards, playing cards, with these additional 3 cards in the suits and the major arcana to also sort of give like a spooky game. It was used in such a cool way in the Victorian period as well. I will make a video about this, but it's not like it has to automatically tie into this sacred special thing and that she's disrespecting something sacred by doing this, because she isn't, you know? Anyway, someone said, love this, my first thought was this girl is going to be a CEO one day. Listen, hear me out, okay? It's not what the patriarchy can do to you, but what they can do for you. So, like, the patriarchy and capitalism come hand in hand to, like, take advantage of people, basically, and make sure the people are at the bottom and the people are at the top, and there are certain people on top, certain people on the bottom. And this is definitely that kind of girl boss CEO, like, mentality of, these people are idiots, I can charge them whatever I want and climb my way to the top. That is fully capitalism and patriarchy mushed together. But at the same time, yes, it's wrong. But when a girl does it, it's like, go for it, bitch, because there's not many of you up in the top. I think there's one. So, out of all of them at the top, there's like one. So, go ahead and do that thing. But also, it's wrong. It's only wrong when men do it. So, you go ahead and you do it. Okay, so that was my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And I do usually post tarot readings on here, so if you want to check those out and have some fun, then feel free to subscribe. But on top of that, I do also occasionally post these types of videos where I'm reviewing like Reddit stories, but I also post like essay style videos as well, all about spooky stuff or spooky related, tarot related stuff. So if you're interested in that, getting video essays that are fun and tarot readings, then go ahead and subscribe. Also, seamless plug, if you want to get any of these art prints, you can check those out in my Etsy shop, which will be linked on my page. So it's like this one here, this one, none of the rest. this one's really cool. And then I have a really cool one of my cat right there, climbing a pumpkin. Then I got this cool ghost one, then I got this cool naked lady, and I got some up there and some over there. Trust me, go check it out, you'll enjoy it. And I got the spectacle, had to double check what I called that one, which is from the perspective of someone being in the grave, waking up to their afterlife, and all the ghosts looking at them, waiting to welcome them into their new life. So yeah, I got some cool spooky stuff on there, so if you want to go check that out, go check that out. But if not, I do hope to see you guys here next week on Fridays for another reading or tarot related video on TìandTarot. Bye. Also, I'd like to make it clear that when I do tarot readings, not that anybody asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway, I'm somewhere in the middle. I definitely do believe in the things that I'm predicting, but if it's something I don't like hearing, I don't believe in it. I'll leave that behind. I'm like, okay, that's not for me. But at the same time, I do also treat it more so like the prediction card game as opposed to something to use alongside your religion. But you can use it alongside your spiritual practice. You can use it how you want, but I personally don't view it as something as serious as that. I view it as a bit of fun, something to use alongside my spiritual practice if I want to. And I also view it as something that can be a bit of a mood booster and also just help to motivate you and kind of put you in the right direction. For me, it really helps with my ambition. Every time I do tarot readings and it motivates me to go and do something, it actually ends up working and I actually end up doing it. So my intention is to inspire you guys and make you guys feel hopeful that you can achieve your goals and go after them. So for me, like, it will say things like, there's a book you've been wanting to write it. No one else is going to do it. You got to do it. And it always motivates me and I'll always get up and write a little bit more of my books. So it's like things like that, you know. I kind of want you guys to feel really inspired and motivated to achieve your goals, because I think the key to achieving your goals is just going after it, actually doing it and being consistent. So that's what I hope to do with my tarot readings. But no, I don't really look at it as a religious kind of thing, if that makes sense.